think about visual art journals, paintings, assemblages and more? If you like it like I do, then you are right here. Hi, I'm Bea Grob and I love to inspire you. Hey everybody, welcome back to my studio. So glad you joined me today for another video collaboration with Mike Deacon and Gina B. Orens for the Artsy trio. There is also a Facebook group down below where you can find all the other projects we have done already. We are now with Gina's mood board. We are already on mood board 21. So if you want to work along and maybe share your work in the Facebook group, I will have the link in the description down below. Now, with this mood board, I mostly was attracted to those colors. And as I'm working at the moment now on a class for birch tree, painting birch trees through all the seasons, I thought I'm going to use that as a starting point for doing some abstracted birch trees. Or an abstracted landscape in the background of the birch tree, whatever you want to call it. I always find it hard to find good titles. I just have the feeling I want to paint something and I don't want to think about words. I want to think about colors and shapes and forms and lines. Anyway, that's what is made me started working on this art journal page. Now, you see me gluing together 2 pages because that's a very flimsy note-taking book, not an art journal or something like that. But I just glued 2 pages together to have a little bit more sturdiness in the pages so it doesn't bleed through and all that stuff. Anyway, I did start by putting in masking my birch trees with the Tesa for delicate surface. It doesn't have to be Tesa, it just has to be something for delicate surfaces. There are brands out there. That's what is the easiest to find for me. And no, it's not from the art store, it's from the home improvement store. Next, I went in with quite a bit of acrylic paints, which I tried somewhat to go along with that. So I have, for example, and by the way, they are all Amsterdam colors, turquoise blue, the 522, but I also have like the turquoise green, the 661. I don't have such a dark, I just didn't find something very similar, but I did find the green yellow, the 243, and some of them are opaque, some of them are not opaque. I didn't care so much. But I also did introduce a little bit of the sky blue 551 and the brilliant blue 564. And I also did introduce some yellow, which I can find in this one here, the yellow, which is an ASO yellow medium, the 269. And then some purple, which I can find here, which is the ultramarine violet 507. To start with, I did use the Naples yellow because there was some paint from the other page, so I had to cover that up somehow. And I also added some gesso just to lighten it up again. By the way, that was a Naples yellow 222 light, a Naples yellow light to be precise. So after having added all the paint, I can't talk today. After I have added all the paint, I did remove the tape. And the thing with the tape, sometimes if you have a hard time to remove it without damaging your pages, it is really helpful if you use a heat tool to slightly heat up the tape so that the glue gets a little bit looser. That way you can easier remove your tape. Now the next step was adding those typical birch tree patches and lines and areas with which are so typical for the birch tree. Birch tree is one of my most favorite trees. I have like 2 trees I really like. That's the birch tree, and the other, I actually don't know what it is called in English, but I got to put it somewhere in the caption. because it has those orange berries in the fall, which I really like. So just a side note here. Now I did go in with the Stabilo All Black, which is water soluble, and with some Derwent ink dents. They are water soluble too, so I could move them around a little bit with my water tank brush. If you don't have a water tank brush, just use a brush and dip it in water. That works the same way. Now I did use a charcoal gray, which is the 2100. Mostly I did use the amber 1710 or 0, whatever you want to call it, bark 2000, and the outliner 2400. The bark I thought is very appropriate, but it doesn't show off that much, so I think you could get along with just the amber and the Stabilo All. Just the Stabilo All to make it a little bit of a grayish. I don't know, you're gonna see it. I'm gonna put on one side, just on one side, a little bit of a shadow to all the trees. So just pretending the sunlight coming from this side, so there is the shadow on this side. So, and it is an abstracted version. It doesn't mean it is very realistic, but for me it gives me the feeling of the birch trees and behind some, I don't know, some shrubs and whatnot. Now, as always, it's going to be a time lapse, and if you enjoy those kind of videos, just leave me a nice comment and give me a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed yet, I really appreciate all my subscribers, and I really try to answer if there are questions or things like that. I try to answer everything. Now, see you next time. Take care. Bye.